Hello and welcome back to Mental Health Matters. My name is Andrew Ditzel and this is episode 31. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about finding the right pace and how we pace ourselves in our lives, how that can support our mental health. We'll be right back after this. All right, so today we are talking pace, and what inspired this episode for me is running. And throughout my running process, pace is it's extremely important to have a good pace. And my personal pace when I run, I always start out too hot. I start out too fast, mostly because I'm excited. I love running. I love getting out there. In the beginning, I'm super fast. But what tends to happen is I tend to crash very quickly. The quicker I start, the quicker that I crash. And I was thinking about this concept while I was running, while I wasn't running, and how important our pace really is and finding the right pace for ourselves, not only in running, but in life in general. I want to use another idea of running a certain race, and depending on how long you run is going to determine your pace. So, yeah, you might be able to run a mile in 7 minutes, but can you keep that pace up for 26 miles in a row? It's an interesting question, and it makes you think because it's like, well, the less I have to run, the easier it is to finish. The longer I have to run, the harder it might be to finish. And understanding that pace can be very important. So coming up here, I've done a couple of 5Ks recently, and I'm running a half marathon, the Brooklyn Experience, and I'm running a half marathon in June as well. So me tuning in to that idea of pace yourself, stay within your own pace of what you can do. And I think an important thing in keeping your pace is knowing your pace, knowing what your pace should be or what it can be for how far you're running. I thought this was a really great analogy to life because we have to pace ourselves with everything. Our life is a run, a race, and we have to pace ourselves in that as well. Not something I have been good at in my life. I think about everything I've done that I come out to the start of maybe a baseball game and I'm amped up and I'm going all out in the beginning, but you got to play the whole game. I thought about that with when I used to drink. I would be drinking really fast, really quick, but then that catches up with you and you can't keep that pace. So pace can show up, and it has showed up for me in many different ways. But the biggest way that it has showed up for me lately is how do I pace myself throughout a week? Monday to Friday, how do I pace myself? And there's so many things that come up in my life just on a daily basis. And whether it is an opportunity or something that I feel inclined to involve myself with, I have work, I have things after work, and how much effort I give to my week. And what I mean by that is at the beginning of the week, just like I do with many different things, I start out very strong, just like I do with my running. I'm super excited to start out. And opposite to what I think many people think is I actually love Mondays because I feel like Mondays are a great start. It's a fresh start to the week. It's a good opportunity for a new beginning. And I get out of sorts with that because I'm so excited to start the week that I overuse myself in the beginning of the week and I overexert myself and I work so hard at work that I almost give all of my energy during Monday that I was supposed to give myself throughout the whole week. Now, this is how it applies for me in the week, but this can apply to so many different things about starting something out, about pacing yourself, and about being consistent with your pace. Because if you start out really strong, you're most likely going to crash. Not always, but I would say there's a higher probability. And how important it is to pace ourselves, be consistent, and stay at that pace that works for you. And I think an important thing about talking about our pace is that everybody's pace is different. The effort that you can give, whether it is to other people, to your job, to yourself, and just showing up the way that's important for yourself. I think trusting ourselves, like I talked about with Lena on our last episode, episode 30, that it's so important to trust ourselves. There's only one person that knows yourself the best, and it is yourself. And it's something, the only reason I can talk about it is because I've struggled with it so much. And how to trust myself, how to learn my pace, how to run my own race that's going to work for me. I think that's really important, and something that I just wanted to come on and have a short episode about for this week, that know your pace, know how you're going to run your race, and how important it is to be in touch with the pace that you are running. Wish me luck with my upcoming runs here. I'm trying to get it at a decent time, but I want to be able to continue the run from start to finish through my pace. For today's episode, I want to talk about a Bible verse from James, and it's James 1:19. Remember this, my beloved brethren. Everyone should be quick to listen, but slow to speak, and slow to anger. I think this is really good. I'm going to read it again. And really just the key part here. Everyone should be quick to listen, but slow to speak and slow to anger. This verse talks more about our personal relationships and the way we deal with other people. Quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. And I think that's a pace in itself, in finding the right pace for ourselves and the way that we communicate with other people. I actually do the opposite of this verse a lot of the time, where I am quick to speak and slow to listen instead of the other way around. And I think finding my pace just in conversations, in the way that I show up for other people, I can definitely work on. And not trying to be hard on myself, but just something to notice and realize that how we interact, how important it is to be slow to anger and quick to listen. And sometimes that right there is finding our pace. So this is just your reminder this week on today's episode of Mental Health Matters to find your pace. Find your pace that works for yourself. For me sometimes, and I think the struggles that I've had have been because of the anxiety that I have and how fast and how hard my mind works all the time. And it can work against me. And if you're somebody who understands anxiety and have struggled with it, that sometimes those thoughts aren't real and they're working against you. To find that right pace with your anxiety, how that shows up in your mind, how it shows up in your feelings, can be really beneficial to the way you move forward and finding your right pace. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Mental Health Matters, episode 31. I'm looking forward to some future episodes and for some more guests to come on. We will see you back here next time.